guys, I was tagged on Instagram to do a stack of movies that I watch on repeat, and I consider a lot of movies that I watch to be movies that I watch on repeat because when I love a movie, I want to watch it all the time. As soon as I finish it, I could watch it again. At any time of the year, I would be willing to watch certain movies with people, even if I had just recently seen them. I have a lot of movies that I like to watch over and over. And I'm not very good at picking favorites or doing ranking videos, so even this stack that I'm going to show you is not like a definitive list. It's representative, but I have way more than 10 that I would choose. I was noticing in my little stack that I have some like common threads between these movies, and so I thought I would just explore it. So consider this like a little analysis of my movie stack and take it as suggestions for movies, and also take it as a preview for movie reviews that I'll be doing. I intend to cover all of these movies at some point. Some of them I've already talked about and done reviews about. So, 10 movies. We'll just go, there's no particular order, and I picked all DVDs because not all of these have been released on Blu-ray, and even if I had them on Blu-ray, I wanted them to be consistent. So, Halloween, of course, classic movie, classic slasher movie, and Halloween 2. I consider these to be they just flow into one another for me. You know, it's the same night, so it makes sense to me that this is almost like one large movie. So I wanted to put both of those in there. So next we've got The Stepford Wives. Then we'll follow that up with Rosemary's Baby. Now both of these movies are based on books written by Ira Levin. Great books. I recommend reading them if you are so inclined. I'll talk more about that when I do the movie reviews, but basically Ira Levin's book is what Roman Polanski used for Rosemary's Baby, and it's pretty much word for word. Like if you read the book, it's like reading the screenplay, and I have watched the movie so many times that when I read the book, I can see the movie and I can actually hear the voices of the actors in my head. So even if the dialogue is a tiny bit different, I can hear Mia Farrow say something. I can hear John Cassavetes say this line in my head. It's very, very interesting. Carrie, Stephen King represented, Brian De Palma represented in that one. I've done a review on this. Then we've got The Omen, which I love Gregory Peck. I had the biggest crush on, I guess I still do have a big crush on him, but I had the biggest crush on him. And I feel like this movie lends legitimacy to the horror genre. You had Gregory Peck, who was a very kind of prestigious actor and a big name. You had Lee Remick. She was a big name. She's a classy, sophisticated actress. So I feel like having them attached to a movie about the Antichrist really upped the credibility for horror as a genre. And I just love psychological stuff. I love the, if we want to go with, you know, Rosemary's Baby, The Stepford Wives, and The Omen, you know, these all have elements of people aren't certain what is necessarily happening. Rosemary's Baby, we're not sure if things are really going on, or if things are all in the person's head, or if things are coincidence. A lot of these things could be explained away, but there's also that unsettling, nagging feeling that something is very wrong. But how do you make people believe that? At what point do you decide, no, I am definitely experiencing something, and, you know, this is bad, this is dangerous, or as Rosemary says, you know, this is really happening, kind of thing. So also in that theme, I'll add in Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I just did a movie review about this movie. I think it is one of the most underrated horror movies out there. It is an amazing movie. I intend to do more things with this movie, so just consider that first review like a little toe into the pool of my videos. And this is another one where it's like woman lead, not sure if things are really happening or if she is having some sort of a nervous breakdown, or if she's overreacting, or if things are just coincidental. We don't know, and it's something that just, I really love that type of movie. And then we have Jaws 2. You might wonder why I did not pick Jaws, but I love the whole, because when I first found Jaws, I was 11 years old. So I really identified with the young teens in this movie. You know, they were a little bit older than me, and I just really looked forward to sailing and hanging out with boys, and you know, I love the 70s, I love 70s fashion, so just all of this really makes me nostalgic. And I also like that you saw the shark a lot in this movie, and the deaths are pretty gruesome. Yeah, I love, obviously I love all the Jaws movies, but if I was like homesick or something, I would want to watch this movie. You know, if I was just needing something to put on, something comforting, something familiar, I would put this on and it would be calming and relaxing. Two more. I've got Eyes of Laura Mars, which I don't really hear anyone talk about. This is more of a thriller, but I don't know. I think I told you before, I don't really distinguish between horror and thriller. They're just, you know, whatever to me. So this one, Faye Dunaway, I love Faye Dunaway. It's a great movie. There's a twist to it, so if you haven't watched this before I make my review, maybe it would be a good time to watch it so that I don't spoil a whole bunch for you. But great movie. I very much identify as being an artist, a photographer. This movie felt very familiar to me, and I could put myself in her shoes very easily. And then lastly, Still of the Night, Roy Scheider, love him. Meryl Streep, she is my favorite actress of all time. And this one is also not really a horror, but it's a thriller, and there are some really, really bone-chilling parts in this movie, and we will get more into that when I do the review of this movie at some point. So those are the 10 movies that I chose for my stack. So now we talked about some of the connections, some of the through lines, but I've noticed that a lot of these are from the 70s. A lot of these have the same author, if there's a book behind it. We have The Stepford Wives and Rosemary's Baby. These are based on books written by Ira Levin. Some of my favorite actors and actresses are in these things. You know, we've got Sissy Spacek. She's one of my favorites. Catherine Ross and Paula Prentice. I love them a lot. Mia Farrow. Meryl Streep. Faye Dunaway. Jamie Lee Curtis. Lee Remick. Zora Lampert. I love all of those people so much. And then male-wise, I don't love as many of the male actors as you would think, but Gregory Peck would be one. Donald Pleasance. Roy Scheider, he's in this one and in this one. So yeah, those are just some similarities. I don't know, I was looking at the stack and I was like, you know what, I should talk about these a little bit. And it's hard to do in an Instagram post. So I made a video, and out of these, I think the only one that I've only made 2 review videos so far. Let's Scare Jessica to Death, and Carrie. These are the only 2 that currently have reviews up on my channel. The other 8 I do want to do at some point. Let me know if you've seen all of these movies, some of these movies. What do you think of them? What would be your, little off the top of your head stack of 10 movies that you would watch on repeat? Because like I was saying earlier, this could change daily for me. I mean, there are some perennials in here, but the truth is that a lot of my movies are ones that I would watch over and over again. And in fact, I kind of do that already. So yeah, let me know down below what you think, what your stack is. If you want to put your stack on Instagram, tag me at the Haunted Valley and I will take a look. And yeah, have a spooky day. Pete Masterson, Barton Heyman, those men, I don't understand how they ended up with the hot women that they ended up with.